Hi, Gili.
Hi, Andrea.
Welcome to the final episode of Virtuelle. This web series explores how both historical and modern women have made music at home, and to close the series, we will be focusing on the practice of improvisation. Gili and I are using an excerpt of the final movement of Hélène Liebmann's Grande Sonate for forte, piano, and cello as a point of departure for an exploration of improvisational playing within written works. And this movement, theme and variations based on Lacidarum la mano from Mozart's Don Giovanni, culminates in a shared cadenza, creating the idea of a shared improvisation.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Whatever happens, happens.
Whatever happens, happens.
In 18th and 19th century practice, a certain freedom from the score was expected. It would have been different depending on the time and the place and the situation, but it would have included ornamentation, fluctuations in tempo, and of course improvisation. And what Gili and I found interesting while exploring this idea was focusing on the process, or improvising with a different goal in mind than final performance. We've had to really reject the idea that there are mistakes, but rather adopt the idea that everything we do belongs and is a continuation or becomes a turning point in the creative process. Now, to do this, we decided to focus on the rule of yes that we see in many genres of improv or in other improvisation, in which no idea presented by our musical partner is met with resistance. Instead, it's embraced as though it was our own idea. And this brought us to some pretty wonderful places, don't you think, Gili?
Yeah, certainly. We really spent some wonderful hours kind of exploring and experimenting with this improvisational mindset or improvisational state of mind. And that's a term that I borrow from David Dolan, who has done a lot of research on this topic. Kind of over time, as we were getting into things and getting used to ourselves and used to each other, our should-bes, so in other words, I should be doing this and I should be listening this way and I should react this way, those should-bes turned into could-bes. So I can do this. Maybe I'll do that. I can listen this way, or I can suggest this, which was a wonderful experience. And we settled on two kinds of yeses. We had our yes and. So yes, I hear what you're doing and something. And our yes but, which was yes, I hear what you're saying, but this. And that was really fruitful for us. What we did, which I loved, was we took our two yes rules, our yes and our yes but, and we applied them in two different contexts. So one of them, or the first one that we tried, was a completely free improv. So invention, creativity from within, on the spot. And the other context that we tried it in was applying this approach, infusing this kind of spontaneous state of mind into a written work. Perhaps sometimes not even changing a single note, but using this connection to a work that's composed, that's written out, that's polished, that's published, that's finessed, which in our case was this excerpt from the finale of Hélène Liebmann's sonata.
Hélène Liebmann is a composer that we don't necessarily know a lot about, which is why it was such a great choice for us to be using, in addition to the fact that she had this duo cadenza, which we found very interesting. She was a pianist and a composer. She was born in Berlin in 1796, and she was a child prodigy. She studied with the best of the best in the area, and she surprised critics as a young woman by writing music that was consequential, as it was expected by critics, and they wrote this, that ladies' music was a weak imitation of music by men, but they did not consider her music to be this weak imitation. This particular sonata was dedicated to a German virtuoso cellist named Max Bohrer, and considering that Hélène Liebmann seems to mostly dedicate her music to people that are close to her, friends, friends and family, Gili and I really enjoyed imagining that her and Max Bohrer had been duo partners, perhaps from a very young age, and having this close relationship. They knew each other's tendencies and preferences when playing music, and perhaps there are all these moments in the cadenza where they tried to surprise each other and throw curveballs. And so then we decided, we tried to invoke that spirit even when staying true to the actual notes on the page. I was a bit lost at the beginning. I kept playing notes I didn't want to play. Like,
yeah.
Twice in a row I did it.
But it was nice because we traded back.
Yeah.
I was with this, I was like, maybe if I